So this is like the perfect period of the year for walking. It's you start getting the moisture back again. You can see those clouds off in the distance. You got the sunshine. Crows getting their snack on, hanging out. I'm gonna see if we can maybe do a little fancy footwork. Get around and see if I can get on that sidewalk and film whatever they're doing on the slough. So the thing was, I had to sit back and I was mulling things over. I do a lot of work in relative silence for a long amount of time. So especially there's certain things that are very repetitive actions, it's like you do a lot of prep work. So as I was like starting to do that, you mill through a lot of, what I was thinking about during the day, things you saw, things you read and stuff. And so I was, going back, so it popped suddenly out of the sifter, it's like, lump of flour, that I'm like, whoa, I'd forgotten that. It was that Trump had made this stop right after the debate. He was talking, and he brought up the crime rates and such that had started changing, and it was stuff that had just come out from the FBI. So all this just came out, and so and he went through it, and one of the things that he brought up was stuff about sexual assault and rape, and that and these were substantially up. And so this is now one of these things that's pretty consistent with that I'm finding very disturbing about the left. And that really feminists need to get this, and especially this weird, like, cultish thing of the white, liberal, educated feminist women who think they're really, like, saving America from its worst aspects of itself, like this demented psychological, like, I can read that people have hostile testosterone energy, and it's mean, teasing, bully energy, and everyone needs to be more like me, a pretty white girl, and so it or me, a educated Jewish woman, it's like it keeps, there's certain groups that they're very into this idea, and they have a history of typically being proselytizing peoples, but also exceedingly intelligent people that are idea people, and they're into ideas, and they're into creating a better world, and that can be appreciated and should be appreciated. Okay, let's see if I can get around. Da-da-da-da. It's Eugene, Oregon, so they totally had to have left some like way that you just go this way, just step over this, and everything's aces. There's nobody around here. There's nothing going on. But, what's this guy up to? So, what I started to think about with this was that I started to like go through it in my mind. I was like, ooh, oh, they got this well roped off. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's the way. Wait, now, how do you get over past that? I think this guy got like closed into the baseball field. Oh, he has a secret. He has a secret way. He knew the secret. That's funny. Or he's supposed to be out there. Which actually, this might be the problem. Now, what's he doing? I think he's supposed to be out there. Well, I want to show you guys this though. But anyway, so I started thinking about like how now we have this solid record from the federal government. No, we cannot keep you safe. Oh no, okay, so he knew the secret route. Okay, that's what it is. He knew. Oh, here we go. Here's the route. Oh, I see why. That makes sense. Poor fella. He couldn't fit through this aperture. Here. Everything's okay. Let me show you. Look at all that beautiful construction. Yeah, people are they're just walking along here. They don't care. It's Eugene, Oregon. They're like, nobody's here to give us the business. It's okay. Cops had better to worry about. So I started thinking about how, okay, now we're at this stage that the Democrats, the advocates for progressive, quote unquote, politics, keep going through this stuff of crime is down. One of their own gets assaulted in the street, and still they play along with fundamentally what in any way they would usually think of this as an egregious form of corruption on the part of county, state, and city officials misrepresenting. Whoa. Wow. That was fascinating. I love that this area now is going to have so many birds. Like once all this grows in, there's going to be stuff like this all the time. My big thing is I want to see the heron. That heron that heron couple is like really cool. So now these the progressive political advocates. I mean, because then I started to think even more about like there's probably quite a number of assaults in San Francisco that are anti-gay hate crimes that are going unreported. That I mean, because everything's up, it would make logical sense that would be too. And so because that's how when one is more right wing, you end up thinking, well, the whole point of civilization is that one of the key benefits is that a civilized society will protect its weaker members from the truly dangerous people. And so then if you have somebody who's supposed to be like the Vox Populi that are going out of their way to underreport harm to the weakest people in the society by dangerous people, it really starts to make one wonder, well, what is this movement really about? Now that one is seeing that, what are the progressives, what do they do? Like, what do they make? What do they do? They kind of shake things up a bit, but mostly what they end up proposing are things that end up being unconstitutional, antithetical to the Civil Rights Act, antithetical to usually like the both rational and Christian religious morals and ethics of the Western world. Advocates for some reason that there will be an arbitrary, somebody will arbitrarily decide how much money they can take from people who produce wealth through their efforts and their success in market economics. And that this will just be decided. It will be decided by these people who don't seem to really have any idea of how to make anything. they don't really propose anything about kind of like this doesn't exist and it will, and it'll be a phenomena that you can actually measure in some way. You could say it'll be this tall or this big, or it'll do this action if it's like a bill or something, or some kind of policy, or an institution of some sort. Yeah, and I keep sitting back like so there's nothing you can't really pin them down on anything that they'd really do. There's things that they advocate for and that they fight. You're fighting for it. Oh, chunky yogurt. And so more and more I'm kind of enjoying how now, because there's nothing really substantive to the progressive movement, it's now having this really hard time dealing with, well, you wanted this outcome. You have that outcome. Ooh. And now you get what you fucking deserve. Behold, Oregon in its majesty. Look at that. Why people want to keep ruining this thing? Why? I don't get it. Don't quite get it. But anyway, so now that these blue enclaves have had to in some way report their numbers on crime, in some way the FBI is like, well, this is now what we have, and it's bad, and is now feminism is over. I mean, if you walk through it, you got to the stage that now you've had so many women involved in some of the highest levels of producing the most expensive products in history. This would be video games and movies and television shows. That there was an effort stated to go out of their way to make sure this is full of women. Writing rooms full of women. By the end of this year, most of these companies will be merging. I think it was Buffett or one of Buffett's people who was saying that most of these companies next year, it'll be it'll be a fire sale, and they'll be merging left and right, selling off all kind, licensing away all kinds of IPs. And I mean, just everybody is seeing this culture war. And what's going to fill the cultural peace, who knows? But now it's at this stage that, I mean, you literally are this force in society, the feminists, that you destroy things. And that you go out of your way, it seems, also to try to do everything you can to insult people quite overtly, that everybody knows, like, no one would ever think that this is awesome. And that this is, and then you guys bring it up on Twitter, you go out of your way to show, no, I know, we did that. You guys hate that shit. And we totally did that. Wasn't that fucking hilarious? Don't you hate that shit? And so yeah, it just, and now there's the thing of, you're seeing the phenomena of, the women talking about loneliness or being single or this and that. And that's one of those where because I don't do the TikToking, I don't know how legit any of that is. I don't understand how that network and its legitimacies, like when people are being legit, or if that's just a thing they do. It's a shtick, but I don't know, I wouldn't know. So, but the thing I was thinking about was, it was like, you've literally seen, like, in every possible way, the money that is spent by men on what men want to do with their free time has changed direction. It's not just less money spent because there's just less money, or they're all in their basements, or so whatever kind of disparaging kind of thing like that. No, it's the money's being directed someplace else. And yeah, and I'm betting that if there were women who really wanted to find men, that one of the places that they would end up, they had all these charts and graphs. It'd be like they're at this place called the Discord. they're discording, they're somewhere, they have frisbees. No, everybody knows what Discord is. They would get that, they'd be, well, half are on Discord, half are on Telegram, it would be that kind of thing. And then, about a fifth of them are on Rumble, and, it would just be these kind of things like this that it would. So because of that division where the men stayed moderate and now men are moving more rightward, especially young men, there really is like now this thing of from afar, ideologically, that you don't think along the lines of feminism anymore. You kind of recognize the arguments when they're veiled in one way or another. So you're like, oh, okay, no, you see it just as an ideology. It's not like the leaves on trees. Just to give you an idea of how beautiful this is. Look at it. Oh, it's so nice. It's just this perfect warmth. Perfect warmth. My friend gave this to me. It was really very nice. He didn't want it anymore, so I kept it nice. So, you don't think like a feminist anymore, and so you're polite. You're not like rude to women or something. That's not a nut job. There is no. You've gone through all the stages of the pilling. So you no longer are like mad about something. You just understand. Like no. It's evolution why we behave this way. It's civilized society. But the problem is we've gotten to this point where men have gotten extremely soft because really it was the democratizing of sex. And a lot of it, the birth control pill, because that makes you kind of choose partners that you wouldn't necessarily choose if you weren't on them. This is something that was known. Not really understood until about the 90s, and then it started to seem that the 2000s this really came up like enough in research that it was like, no, this is affecting certain sections of your brain. And then from there it nobody wanted to talk about it because everybody likes chemical birth control. It's everybody has fun. It's easy fun through drugs, and a lot of our society kind of has to start dealing with that issue. That's how we roll. Oh my gosh, this guy again. What the hell? That's so fucking beautiful, dude. Love that fucking thing. Like the antennas in the back. Anyway, so now it was something that kind of happened that most people who are very internet savvy, they saw a touch of it, but like people who you really were following what was going on the right, you definitely saw it, was sobriety movements. A lot of people going sober, a lot of people totally changing their lives, becoming much more disciplined, having a much higher sense of self-worth, etc. The left there's things that you find the left posting, especially these advocates and activists, that's absolutely just, you just feel terrible for them. I mean, like, you can't really even laugh. Like people do, of course, that, it's on stream and the chat's having a hell of a time watching you suffer. After you went and docked somebody or got people fired from their job, everyone's glad to see that you're still mentally ill. But I mean, there's a part of my mind that I'm like, but how did this movement do this to you? How, I mean, and they keep asking for their comrades. If you could just help me, blah, 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 a little bit of money, this, that, and the other. And it actually, once there was, it just, over the last few years, I've gotten that better sense of, you should legitimately feel bad at times, because there's people who fundamentally you should feel bad for, and it just, and so I had to sit back and I'm like, forgive them for they know not what they do. Their mind is possessed by devils. Like in Lone Wolf and Cub, they said his mind was possessed by devils. It was infected. It might have been infected by devils. It was a bad time. Oh yeah. So anyway, the self-destructive quality, the nihilism, the depression, but it's like obvious, look at me, depressing, a lot of that, it's just too phony, it's too contrived. It's just not, it doesn't make Gen Xers say like, boy, we need to help these kids by having a progressive movement that tells women they're only women if they qualify through this list of things that make them women. But I mean, there's also women who don't go through this list of things and they qualify to punk rock, what's punk rock? Getting shots. Getting shots from the government. Oh God, and the whole irony of, and what's their label? Epitaph. There's kind of an irony there, and I gotta fully, I don't know. It's gotta keep whipping it until it like becomes, until it thickens, Anyway, so. The Democrats have ended feminism, because if you have to ask what a woman is, that's the end. You have now lost you've lost the definitive term. So the beautiful part is, Democrats can tell you what toxic masculinity is, but they will get all weird about what a woman is. They get all uncomfortable. But they know what toxic masculinity is, and that's the beauty of this. Somehow that is completely identifiable, and easily so, and easily, probably, they could just look at a movie, they could see how Buck Rogers' toxic masculinity said, okay, well, what about all the women in it? Well, it depends. And so that's, it's one of those things where I'm just sitting there like, I'm really seeing this. And then it's that moment of kind of like a weird, super villainish kind of feeling, like I see you have stepped into your own trap, that kind of, Because otherwise it would be that I'm the hero of some sort, some goofball hero who's kind of aloofly defeating you by allowing you to defeat yourself. I mean, it's just really weird that the way that this is working, that it's just raw mockery. And then there are people, no. There's people who do fantastic research. There's no way around that. I gotta admit, a lot of I'm not coming up with anything new. All of this is stuff that, like, has been put on blend, and with, podcasts of the Lotus Eaters, some quarter cast, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, some aristocratic utensil, post by Lavatter, that all these characters that, and then every once in a while there's somebody who will be like, wait, what's this base motherfucker been doing? Oh, how I haven't looked at Un's review in a month, kind of thing. And so that's why I was, like, thinking about, yeah, and so steep, put on blend, put a few cups into, and then steep it, have a good draft of hot, right-wing, independent thinking action. And so, it's like, while I'm, breading the chicken, mulling it over, just thinking about it, how things seem to be playing out. And it's the left all across the Eurosphere has become, like, just corny. And it really is. It's like that girl who just, that mom and the girl who just, they never nail the funny. They never nail it. And now it's become like that kind of boat horn mouth, basketball tits kind of, braying dumbass, kind of, and that you're just like, oh my God, why are these drunk old hoes so loud? Why do they come here? And so, oh my God, stop trying to dance with people, and yeah, I mean, just, just stretching their Birkenstocks, people who stretch their Birkenstocks, telling yoked dudes how that telling yoked dudes that they're going to have to defend Poland, like, I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, there's just all these things like this that run through my mind every once in a while, and I'm like, no, that's really mean. You just really can't say something like that. You can't. And then I'm like, no, that's not mean. It's just, it really, something about that image is just, it's so not right. Like, I mean, bingo wings. You need to defend France. You need to fight for the future of France, young men. And you need to defend the port of Odessa, because that's the seat of civilization. Did you know? Just these things where I'm just sitting back, like, how the comedy's so grim, I can't keep giggling at it. The comedy's so ironic and tragic and grim that it's just, I can't laugh at it. It's an unholy thing to laugh at something so grim. There's, yeah. And just to know, like, you don't live in fear until something happens that finally makes you afraid. And then you understand, and then you never are going to be the same. And it's like, why are you bequeathing that to some woman who you might meet one day and have to share that story and know, if the election had gone differently, that would have never happened to her. The election had gone differently, that would have never happened to your friend That woman who you guys were hanging out, drinking wine, and you ended up in tears because of this horrible thing that happened to her. So you just remember that. You just, with all your fantasies about what you think the Trumper is going to do, when you just really get like, oh, well, now the government knew a lot more about crimes against women, and everybody was real quiet until they couldn't be. And it came out, oh, right after the debate. Oh, right after it. Boy, fancy that.